Hello, coming at you with a video. Um, just trying to get up that energy to talk about books. I did do a lot of reading this past month, even though for at least the last week or so I haven't been in the greatest headspace, which is why there haven't really been any new videos popping up at all. But I am here today to talk to you about my big old stack of books that I want to read this month of May. I read 14 books last month, so I'm kind of hoping to keep up that trend of really getting lots of reading done. So let's get into my stack here. So to start off with, I have a couple of books that I am in the middle of. First up is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow. I did want to finish reading this last month and it just did not happen. I was not in the mood. So I am hoping to get back in the mood to finish this book. For this month, I'm on chapter 8, The Living Map. Things are getting creepy and interesting. So, yep, hoping to finish reading this bad boy. Next up, I have a book that I started last week, which is The Mask of the Enchantress by Victoria Holt. This is about a girl who was the illegitimate child of a, I don't know, a rich family kind of deal. Well, somebody was rich and then the other person, well, it's complicated. Anyway, it takes place in I don't have an actual date, but it sounds like it's sometime in the late 1800s, early 1900s, perhaps. And it's like a mystery, thriller, gothic romance type thing. I'm like a good chunk into it, and I feel like I have read this before, which is confusing because it sounds like the plot of another one of her books that I'm fairly certain I did indeed read, but now I'm questioning myself because now I think that I thought I read that other book, but I actually read this one. I don't know, I'm confused. Um, anyway, it is pretty good so far. A little slow going for me just because I'm not entirely sure how I feel about a couple of the characters, but yeah, like I said, it's pretty good. I'm like on page 110 or whatever, but yeah, I hope to finish reading this month as well. Then I have a couple of others. I really want to read They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. So that's immediately up on my list. I may or may not, in fact, start reading this today. But yeah, so this is next up on my list. I believe I've talked about this before. This is kind of like an autobiography graphic novel of sorts of George Takei's childhood during World War II when he and his family were forced into a Japanese internment camp. So it's all about that experience. So I will, if I don't start reading it today, I will start reading it this weekend. That is next up on my list. After that, it is spring. Spring is a time of, you know, nature and love and blah blah blah. So I was thinking that if I was going to read any romancy type thing this month, it would probably be Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I just got this in a book haul. This is a book of hers that I have attempted to read before and did not end up reading it because I was not a big fan of the Dashwoods. But I am hoping to have a different experience now because I am like at least 10 years older than I was the first time I tried to read this, so maybe I'll actually enjoy it now. Next up, I am getting in the mood to read a lot of mysteries. So, I am hoping to read this old hunk of mysteries right here. First up is The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek by Rhett Mclaughlin and Neal. I did put this on my TBR for last month and didn't end up reading it, so I do want to actually read this month. Then, of course, I also have some Craig Johnson books, which are the Longmire mysteries. So I have Death Without Company, Kindness Goes Unpunished, Another Man's Moccasins, and The Dark Horse. These are pretty exciting reads, and the books aren't that thick either, so I have a feeling I will breeze right through these. So I kind of have them all on my list for this month. And then, if I'm in the mood for mystery slash action, because I've also been watching a lot of NCIS, I also have Death Echo by Elizabeth Lowell on my list. This is an international intrigue where a pair of former operatives must stop a deadly plot that threatens a major American city and ultimately the world. And it says there's a lot of passion in it, so there's probably sexy stuff too. I don't know. I've never read Elizabeth Lowell's work before, but yeah. So I have this. It's an exciting read also for this month. And then the last couple of books on my list. First up would be one I'm questioning whether or not I want to read because I don't know if I'm in the correct headspace to devour this at this point. But however, because it is Terry Pratchett, I know it'll be funny, so maybe I can do it. But that would be Mort. This is a novel of the Discworld series, and basically, this is about a young man named Mort who gets the job offer to be Death's apprentice. And Death is like this actual, like, Grim Reaper character on Discworld. So, like I said, it's a toss up. This either could end up giving me a lot of anxiety or just making me laugh a lot. I'm not really sure yet. This is tentatively on the list. And then besides this, and because this is kind of like a fantasy, I'm hoping that it will get me in the mood to really get into Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. I wanted to read this last month, but ended up not really being in the mood for a fantasy. I'm still only a few pages into it, so I'm hoping that maybe this will get me really into that fantasy mood and wanting to read this book, or it's a big boy, so if not read the entire thing, at least make my way through a good chunk of it before June hits. So, yeah. And that is it, folks. This is my big old, well, most of my, here we go. This is my chunk for this month. The plenty of books that I want to be reading. So, yeah. Hopefully I will be in the mood to read all of these. We shall see. Because this is a big hunk, I should get to be reading. Hope that you guys are well and having fun despite the quarantine. Thank you for watching and have fun reading. Bye.